So we are good to go. For people watching the stream, you recognize her. That's right. She's back. She got dressed up just for this show. That's right. But we're not going to have
Actually,
her
that's a lie. I got another show after this one. So.
But we're first. Anyhow,
and I got my new mug that I got last night.
Oh my gosh. Are you going to go out in public with that?
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's going to be the Sergeant Betsy and Chief Joel show of the day. So I can't wait. We got some good topics we're going to be talking about. So if you guys are watching on the stream, feel free to type in messages if you want to talk about anything during the commercial breaks or in the first 6 minutes we have right now. Just under 6 minutes we have before we go live radio. But again, if anything you want us to talk about, feel free to hop in. I see that we've already got Sergeant George on from Hayward, California. I believe that's right. Where it's surprisingly 52 degrees in Hayward, California. Is it really that cold over there in Hayward? Wow.
Yeah, it's the same here in Tucson. It's chilly as heck, but it's going to be 90 today. Hi, Sarge.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, and we're over here. We are live on Rumble as well. And I'm just checking the LinkedIn feed, making sure that we're live on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, they have a tendency to be a little bit temperamental over there. A lot of professionals, but again, sometimes the live feed works, sometimes it doesn't. So, but we are live today on LinkedIn as well. So we're batting 1,000 guys. So it's all looking good.
Hey, Chip, I forgot to tell you, I was boating in the Gulf of America this weekend.
Oh, in the Gulf of America. I love it. I love it.
And I got to see Alligator Alcatraz.
Oh, you did? Did you now? And it's funny how you didn't see any protesters out there anymore, did you?
3 gas-guzzling buses full of them.
No.
I got out. I might have gotten out and taunted them in a legal manner.
With your mug? It could have happened. She can neither confirm nor deny. I understand. Wow.
But I did not break the law.
No, I wouldn't think so. And so no cruise missiles flying over your head or anything. I'll tell you, we got this operation going in Mexico. We had Venezuela. We got Alligator Alcatraz. I love that name, by the way. And then, of course, we've got everything going on in the Middle East right now. And we've got so many people, Trump gets second guessed everywhere he goes, and everything always ends up near perfect, and it's so funny with the past administration. No one second guessed, what he was doing with the open borders, which is what created most of the situation we find ourselves in anyhow. So,
yeah.
Betsy, you want to qualify for Secret Service protection. I
agree.
I hope you're behind a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty bold, but because down here we're fighting the leftist crazies here in Tucson, and their anti-ICE stuff is so insane, and it's all anti-Trump. It has nothing to do with reality. It's just extraordinary.
James Carville.
When blue states get so intolerable, their citizens leave and they bring their blue state crap with them to conservative places.
Exactly what happened here. And we're in the last fully Republican town in our county. And if we can't save it, we're moving to Pinell County. We're moving to Mark Lamb's neighborhood.
Wow. Yeah. And how is he doing? He's running for Congress.
He's running, yeah, and he's doing really well. Polling is awesome.
Nice.
He's running for Andy Biggs's seat because hopefully Andy will be our governor. And yeah.
All right, good. Wish nothing but the best for that guy. He's good people, and that's who we need. That's who we need. So.
Yep.
Well, guys, I'm looking here. We've got a message for Sergeant Betsy. Asking if she, what is this now? The Breaking Benjamin. I'll put it up on the screen here. And usually he throws these things at us, and I have no idea who these people are. So, are you ready for the Breaking Benjamin? We Are Not Alone tour coming up on Saturday, October 3rd from the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. And do you even know what that is, or?
I do not, but I God bless you, Super Sailor Outlaw. I don't go to California because I can't carry the type of gun I want.
I just read that Gavin Newsom was on a show in the state. I'm just going to say in the States. It's like he's like out of the country, but basically, yeah, a show in the States, in the free part of of America. And he got a gun. They gave him a gun, and he has not been able to get it over into California yet. Which is it just cracks me up. It has to be, FFL to FFL, and then there's other restrictions and stuff. So yeah, so when I roll, and a lot of people may not know this. So when you go to California, you've got a magazine restriction of 10. Now, what that means is that, well, I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't mean that you can have a 20-round magazine and only put 10 rounds in it. You'll still be in violation of the law. So you can only have a magazine that will hold up to 10 rounds, no matter how many rounds you have in it, but you certainly can't have over 10 rounds either. So that's your limitation when you travel to California. So you got your SIG 226 with a 15-round mag. That ain't going to cut it, yeah, you're severely limited on what you can do. And that's just that. Yeah, Chief.
And it is unfortunate because, California's a beautiful place and I like to drink wine, but no.
Chip, you just understand how many lives have been saved from that 11th round.
Yeah, because the bad guys don't carry guns that have over 10 rounds. You're absolutely right. Yeah, bad guys follow the laws too. Yeah. I went to Napa for the first time with my wife in November, and we stayed in my favorite place, Carmel, and then we went to Napa. And the weather, we picked the bad time to go.
Carmel, man, you're making the big bucks, dude.
Well, I have a bed and breakfast that you would love if you go there. But we're going to the radio, guys. Put your seatbelts on. All right, guys, and welcome to Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com. My name is Chip the Block, and I'm your host for a group of law enforcement professionals that talk about today's news and issues, but we do it from a law enforcement perspective. Let me introduce the crew. Guys, if you don't mind waiting for the video portion of our show, he's back. He's a regular. Yes, we have Dr. Joel Schultz, retired police chief, and he's residing currently somewhere in the beautiful state of Colorado. He won't tell us where he is exactly, but we'll just take his word for that. Also, Sergeant Betsy Brantner Smith. She's the national spokesperson for the NPA, which stands for the National Police Association, and you will hear a lot more about them later on the show. So thank you so much for being on the show, guys. And hey, if you're looking at Betsy and thinking, hey, she looks a little familiar, yeah, that's because she's been all over TV with our own Lieutenant Randy Sutton, covering all the news that's been going on over there, with our missing persons investigation. So, and Betsy, what is the latest and the greatest involving that? Can you give us any snippets of anything going on, or is it business as usual?
We're on, I think it's day 39, and Nancy Guthrie is still missing. Our sheriff is still a bumbling fool, but the men and women of the Pima County Sheriff's Department, along with their FBI partners, have a task force, and they are working every lead possible. And I also want to break a little news to everybody. I did Randy Sutton's laundry while he was here in Pima County. So we fed him, and I did his laundry. So
you could tell
on International Women's Day.
Yeah, that would have been appropriate. Yes, he and my husband smoked cigars while I did his laundry. So there you go.
I thought you guys did a great job of the Guthrie investigation, keeping us apprised of what's going on. But we trust you, and so there's been so much ball dropping in that investigation. I told you, and before the show we talked, I did missing persons investigations. I had a lot of questions. I saw a lot of things going on that I didn't understand or necessarily agree with. So it was really nice to see you and Randy, in the spotlight, being able to be in the spotlight so much that you just were allowed to talk to the American people and kind of, bring them up to speed from a credible source on what was going on, because there was just, well, you know what I'm talking about, just so many question marks. And I know that it will be quite some time before we find out everything that happened and did not happen, in the case.
Right. Yeah. And again, don't punish these cops because they have lousy leadership. These are good people.
Good point.
Trying to do a tough job.
Most cops, they just want to do their job. and it's when they are restrained and kept from doing it that really just aggravates them. And so you gotta appreciate that. Hey, a shout out to our sponsors. Our title sponsor, Goals at Goals.com, and also satellite sponsor is Compliant Technologies, CompliantTechnologies.com. We also have Gunlearn.com, Medicare.live, SafeguardRecruiting.com, our streaming sponsor. And if you got an agency and you need to hire people the right way, Safeguard Recruiting is the way to do it. And they're also allowing us to stream to over 1 million followers right now on social media right now during the live show. And twobells.com, they built their new online store at leoroundtable.com. We don't charge anything extra for the gear on our website. So go to leoroundtable.com, our website, upper right-hand corner, you've got our online store. And we've got shirts and mugs like the coffee mug behind me. We don't charge anything extra. When I buy stuff, I pay the same exact price you guys pay because we don't make a dime on it. We just are trying to get our gear out there and so that we can, just we get our name out there and advertise. So thanks a lot. A shout out to Brian Burns for the Tampa Free Press at TampaFP.com. Thanks for carrying our content. Brian, also Ray Dietrich of former lawman.com. And finally, Travis States with lawofficer.com. Thanks to all those entities for helping make the show happen. And now, what in the world are we talking about today, guys? We've got a pretty good lineup. The top story is the top DOJ prosecutor saying that tens of thousands of non-citizens are on voter rolls and dozens illegally voted. So more information about that. And then we've got, it's like a who's list of what's been going on with the NPA, National Police Association. And guys, if you're not involved with NPA yet, and I'm talking about financially supporting this organization who Nancy's the national spokesperson for, you need to really have that conversation with yourself and do it. I support them monthly, and I sleep better at night knowing that I do. When I go over the list of everything that they have done, which means that I have done it because I financially support them, you're taking an active role. And wait till you hear the list. We're going to be talking about, that'll be our second story. I can't wait to get to that. You guys, I guarantee you're going to be surprised. Most people are not even close to being aware of everything they do. And most of this is just behind the scenes. You don't know what you don't know. And then we've got anti-ICE writers thought that they were above the law. This man is showing them otherwise. You're never going to believe that we're talking about Portland. Look at Nancy's mug that she's holding up.
Betsy Brantner Smith. Betsy.
Did I say,
Nancy Guthrie's missing. Betsy's right here.
Oh, you got me. But I love the mug. So, but she can't carry it outside the house. So you just need to have Portland.
I can. Trust me.
If you have Portland on the mug, that might make a better difference. I don't know. So sorry about that, Betsy Brantner Smith, and I will just say that I don't know. The first time she was on the show, I got in the habit. Randy got me going, and I switched the name, and ever since then. So any ICE riders are not having the field day that they used to in Portland. So that is a surprising story. I can't wait to cover that as well. And moving along, we've got another story. Now, these have a couple video components. A Florida guy, of course, that's how we roll in Florida. There's a man armed with an axe. He's taken down by car wash employees, and he's later arrested. This guy had some skill. He was not a cop, but he probably should be. And then we have Pasco County deputy injured in a shooting after the suspect shot 2 other people. And then Chino police released body cam footage of an officer shooting a guy that's armed with a knife. So assuming that we have time to get to all those, that's the order that we're going to roll in. So let's hop to the first main story. And the sources are justthenews.com and TampaFP.com, which is the Tampa Free Press. Top DOJ prosecutor says that tens of thousands of non-citizens on voter rolls and dozens illegally voted. So I know when I say non-citizens, most people are thinking illegals. There's another mix in here, though, too. The top Justice Department prosecutor for civil liberties and voting rights tells Just the News that her ongoing review of state voter rolls has proven that tens of thousands of non-citizens made it into position to cast ballots, and that hundreds of thousands, you heard me right, hundreds of thousands of dead or departed residents were not properly removed from the state election systems. And she said that it's really frustrating that we're being prevented from doing our job. And this is Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, Harmeet Dillon. And she said this on Tuesday night. She criticized state election officials and federal judges who are the ones that are blocking her office from trying to obtain the data and review every state's voter roll ahead of the midterms that are coming up this year, 2026. And she also gave early accounting of the initiative, so at least you know where the numbers are leading, which helps support her effort. Disclosed that during a wide-ranging interview on Just the News No Noise television show that 16 states, that's 1-6, that they've already turned over their voter rolls to the DOJ, or they've signed a memorandum of understanding to provide the data. But we have 29 that are facing litigation that is going to have to compel them to turn over the list. And that's got to be frustrating. She says, we want every American citizen to feel confident in voting and to feel confident in the outcome of the election. And that's why we're undertaking this massive project. And she said that while having access to less than half of the state's election databases, and I think they meant the countries, Dillon said that she's already found deeply disturbing statistics that only are bound to get worse as more states are forced to comply. And, winding it up, she says, we're finding tens of thousands of non-citizens on the voter rolls, hundreds of thousands of dead people on the voter rolls, and duplicate registrations between the states as well. That means that, they're registered in multiple states. And earlier this month, the DOJ announced that it had indicted an illegal alien from Africa, just for an example, for illegally voting in 7 federal elections, and just in the state of Pennsylvania. And of course, federal law prohibits that. Sergeant Betsy.
Well, I'll tell you, I live here in Arizona, and our Secretary of State, as well as our Attorney General, have told our county recorders and our county election officials not to cooperate with the DOJ. And full disclosure, my husband was the chairman of the Republican Party here during the last Trump election. And one of his volunteers went through all of our voter rolls and discovered that our oldest voter here in Pima County, Arizona, was 126 years old, still an active voter. Pretty extraordinary. And that's the problem we have here in Arizona. And let's remember that 19 states plus the District of Columbia allow illegal aliens to get quote unquote legal driver's licenses. And guess what? Most of those 19 states also have motor voter laws. And I have worked at the polls. And for example, when I was working at the polls, when somebody would come in and say, I don't have ID, or their address doesn't match, or they have a driver's license from another state, you give them what's called a provisional ballot so they can still vote in federal elections. And so our system is broken, badly, badly broken. But the Democrats and a few Republicans don't want it fixed.
Chief, I think you were going to say, I was curious, how close are you to Maricopa County?
I am just the south of Maricopa County. The counties in Arizona are huge. So Maricopa County is larger than like 5 states. But Pima County is also huge. And, but it's very spread out. It's a border state, or it's a border county. And but yeah, we partially border with Maricopa County. And They are the epicenter of the voting crap show here in Arizona.
Yeah. And Chief Schultz.
Well, first, I was surprised to hear that Betsy leans Republican. I was not aware of that. But, and I'll be quick here. The Constitution leaves voting up to states with the provision that Congress can intervene. And we've had several legislative efforts that allow federal oversight, that require documentation. So this stonewalling about giving information to the feds is against present law.
Perfect timing, Chief. Thanks so much, guys. We will come back and continue this dissection right after this commercial break. All right, guys, time to talk about our title sponsor, Galls at Galls.com. And as police officers, the one thing we do really well, we love to buy gear. And when you throw the online mix, it's like limitless, right? Like a lot of choices. But I want to remind everybody about what is really most important here. It's about supporting the companies that actually support law enforcement. And I don't know if a company does it better than Galls at Galls.com. Even their motto, which is on the banner behind me, proud to serve those who serve, which of course they do in spectacular fashion. And not only that, they walk the talk by supporting dozens of focused organizations like this radio show. So when you're looking for gear, please support our title sponsor by going to Galls at Galls.com. And they're going to do you one better. For the loyal listeners of the show, they've got a radio code that'll get you 15% off your next order at Galls.com. It's radio 15. Go to Galls.com today. Type in radio 15 in order to get that 15% off of most purchases at Galls.com. And they have gift cards. Hook up your family, friends, and loved ones with a new Galls gift card. They'll be your new best friends because they have pretty much everything but guns and ammo. Again, that is at Galls.com. All right, guys, 2 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show. And I think that we're off to a good start here. So, it kind of, the Maricopa thing kind of kills me because everybody knows who Joe Arpaio is. And, he got in some grease and Trump helped get him out. But the level of corruption in that county, even watching, 2 elections ago, watching the numbers that were coming down and stuff, it was just
well, and remember, Maricopa's run primarily by the Republicans. I mean, that's one of the frustrations that we have here in Pima County. We're run by the Democrats, but in Maricopa County, it's Republican on Republican strife. And
but isn't the director or the person in charge of the elections Democratic?
In the state, but not in Maricopa County. Maricopa County is all Republican, but it's the establishment versus the grassroots, and they hate us. They hate the grassroots. That's one of the reasons that Arizona has gone purple, is because Republicans spend too much time fighting each other, not enough time fighting the left.
Interesting.
Yeah, Florida's got it together, and we need to model you guys, but we're not doing a good job of it.
Well, Texas, I know I love Greg Abbott, but you're right. I wouldn't want to leave Florida. I just love Ron DeSantis.
Well, in Texas, you got the whole John Cornyn, Ken Paxton situation right now, and John Cornyn, Republican on Republican again, but John Cornyn is a lot of bad things happening in the background there. So
all
Texas, if you're listening in Texas,
5 seconds.
Paxton.
Here we go, guys.
In my opinion.
All right, guys, and welcome back. Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com, the law enforcement talk show. My name is Chip DeBlock, and I'm your host. We're joined by Sergeant Betsy Brantner-Smith, and we also have Chief Joel Schultz. I'm sorry, I didn't refer to you as Dr. Chief. I hope you forgive me. But
no, you just referred to me as also.
As also. Boy, he is getting a little feisty today. All right, what's in that drink? And guys, we've been talking about election stuff. We've been talking about illegals and voter rolls and all this kind of stuff. But the conversation continues. And I can't remember who was up when we went to commercial break. But we got 2 open mics, so whoever wants to start us off. And was it Chief Schultz? Were you the one talking when we went to break? Yeah,
I was just pointing out that there have been several pieces of legislation over the years. The 15th Amendment, post-Civil War Voting Rights Act, of course, the big one in 1965, which authorized federal monitoring. And the National Voter Registration Act, 1993, which requires eligibility and accuracy of voter registration lists. And then the Help America Vote Act in 2002, which requires record keeping. So all these things are already in existence, and I really don't understand the voting officials in these 29 states that are saying, we're not going to play that game because if it's just state and local elections, no federal jurisdiction as long as there's no discrimination. But when you're electing for Congress and the president, it's a different deal.
Interesting. I kind of find it fascinating that a lot of people, well, obviously there's been a move to bring, look, they call them non-citizens or illegals in the vote. The article is interesting because in addition to that, we've got a ton of people that are not even alive anymore. And then we've got dual registered voters in different states. And I know that a lot of people associate just the masses coming over here illegally and being able to vote. But even if they don't, you've got the whole electoral college thing where you get your electoral votes based off of population. And that's why we have seen the busing of illegals going to strategic places all over the country. I've got this next article. It's a companion article to the story, just talking about the illegal and some of the efforts that we've got. I'm looking at Betsy's mug, and it's talking about ICE, which is what this article is about. Texas ICE agents arrest 414 child sex offenders just in the first year of Trump's return. All these people that are down on ICE and stuff, listen to some of these stats and then check yourself on which side of this you want to be on. Federal authorities in Houston, this is Houston alone, reported a significant spike in the apprehension of criminal undocumented immigrants that were tied to sex crimes against children during the first year of President Trump's return to office. And data released by ICE's enforcement and removal operations in Houston shows that 414 individuals charged with or convicted of child sex offenses were taken into custody. That's just last year. The figure represents nearly 100% increase compared to the final year of the Biden administration, when they recorded 211 arrests. So huge increase beyond the 761 specific child sex offenses attributed to this group of active cases. Those arrested were also linked to 525 additional crimes, including homicide, robbery, and assault. Bona fide bad guys. Sergeant Betsy.
Well, and we just had an investigation conclude here in Phoenix where we rescued another, I think it was 67 young victims. Here's the problem, with this unfettered illegal immigration. Remember, the federal government lost about 350,000 kids. Now, ICE and CBP have found about 150,000 of those missing kids. But this is one of the areas where the anti-ICE activists will not discuss trafficked children, trafficked women, and yet ICE is going about quietly doing their jobs and rescuing people, especially the kids, and they deserve our support. They deserve us to be loud and proud in our support for them. Because the left they don't want them to continue. And going back to, you're talking about voting. Remember, there's a lot of talk about having ICE at polling centers in November. And they don't want them there because the illegals who come to vote do not want they don't want to encounter ICE. So we have to really push for that.
Can you hold that mug up again, Betsy? And because we have a radio and an audio component, podcast stuff. So I want to. It says I support ICE, but ICE is in huge letters, and it's just not just a mug. It's like a mug. It is large enough to be used as a weapon. It looks like it's like 12 inches high,
and it's metal.
That is metal, really? It's not plastic? Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. It is huge. It's a white mug and it's got that dark print on it, and you can see it from a mile away. So I think Chief Schultz wants one now.
We'll get you one.
Sure. Yeah. Anything free, I'm up for. I absolutely am stunned by this defund ICE movement. It is absolutely insane. If you're willing to sacrifice the arrest of predators and traffickers, and to ignore the plight of sex trafficking victims, children, it is immoral. It's not even a good tactical approach to their concern about ICE. And one of the components of ICE is HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, and they do tremendous work. I'm just looking, and I love this. It was called, in November of 25, it was called Operation Dirtbag, which happened in Florida. They arrested 54 predators and uncovered 164 sex crimes. That was just with that particular operation. And then in a previous operation, and I can't remember where this was, it was called Operation Predator, 8,000 arrests of child predators. So, I mean, the numbers are shocking and staggering. The number of kids that are being exploited. And we're having ripple effects from this unfettered immigration, and people that are taking advantage of that. Kids are still hurting.
Good information. Guys, time for a second commercial break already. Stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, it's time to talk about Compliant Technologies at complianttechnologies.com. And they are committed to providing non-lethal solutions to help officers gain the upper hand safely and rapidly in a humane, low-optics manner, utilizing what they're called their CD3, which stands for Conductive Distraction and De-Escalation Device Technology. Now, their flagship product, we all know by now, is called the Glove. It's helped officers, I was going to say tens of thousands of times, but now there are over 250,000 deployments with no injuries and no deaths. That's an encouraging stat. Yes, I said no injuries. They've actually achieved non-lethal status in an arena that predominantly can only offer less lethal results. And when it comes to weapons retention, transitioning from to a sidearm or protected energy weapon, the Glove at CompliantTechnologies.com, they virtually eliminated weapons confusion. So stay ahead of the game with Compliant Technologies and their revolutionary CD3 that hundreds of agencies have already turned to nationwide. And friends, take it from me, when it comes to safety, this is one of the most common sense hands-on solutions that's ever come along. Go to CompliantTechnologies.com today and tell them that Chip sent you. Again, that's CompliantTechnologies.com. You'll be glad you did. All right, we got 4 minutes before we come back to the radio portion. And
Chip,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if you'd read about the Democrats' proposal to amend the SAVE Act to allow death certificates as a form of ID at polling places.
That's pretty good, actually.
I think that's what they do
good.
here in Arizona.
Wow.
We literally have hundreds of people registered to vote in Arizona that are well over 100 years old. And, it's just extraordinary. It's unbelievable. Dave and I worked at the polls and volunteered. We still volunteer. And we're just so blown away by how bad things are. We have to fight to have election observers, and
it's not even what the American people want.
DOJ is coming in. There's a lot of nervous officials here in Arizona.
I so appreciate our active senior citizens, Betsy and Dave.
That's us. We're out there.
It's not even what the American people want. It just blows my mind how they can push an agenda that nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, but that the vast majority of Dems and Republicans don't want. It just blows my mind. But then again, Chuck Schumer blows my mind too. So
I know. I just texted you something to look at later, Chip.
Thank you.
Yeah, something.
So you're the one that had the noisy cell phone, Chip.
It's on silent.
No, mine too. That was my dogs were barking. I don't know if you heard that. My legal lawn guy is here. So
So Betsy, did you know that I did the glove challenge? That Travis and I did it. Were you aware of that? Okay, all right. So we did that in Vegas, and it was on a Thursday, and so. If you would have told me Travis won and that he lasted longer than me, I would have believed it was that close. I mean, I lasted 1 point something seconds before complying, and Travis was right around the same. But I think they had stopwatches. I just edged him out. So I want a free pair of the gloves that I'm in the process of donating to the Tampa Police Department right now, as long as they use them. I don't want them sitting on a shelf. And then a user, MVS, Michael Von Slock, that watches the show over on Rumble, he won the other pair, and he's having difficulty in the state of Colorado finding an agency that will take them. He's been talking like smaller sheriff's offices, like 100-man agents, that kind of stuff. But when he was bringing it up, they're really good with vehicle extractions, the sheriff said, we haven't had one of those in 35 years. So now we're looking at there's another agency in California that Chief Ralph is looking to get us into for that second pair of gloves. So hopefully that'll work out. But yeah, it's an amazing product. I mean, you have to go hands-on to use it. But in a day where there's a reluctance to go hands-on, everybody wants to stand 20 feet away with a taser.
Exactly.
It gives you that confidence going hands-on, even if you'll be a believer. It's just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
You should reach out to Chris Noller with Pueblo PD for MBS. He might be interested in that.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting point too. Yeah. And he's got a PD. A lot of the sheriff's offices that get him put him in the jail. And not that they're not
That's
great
where
going to the
I
jail,
keep in corrections. What
but
a great
but
thing.
we want them on the street, and then we want to get the videos. I mean, they're just the moment you touch somebody, there's so many things like even that ice shooting that was in Minneapolis where they were trying to extract the female driver before she put it in drive and hit the ICE agent. That would have been over before it got started. All you had to do, get a finger, skin. As long as it touches skin, you're good to go. And won't go through hair or
Well, that's,
clothing.
remember she had her car locked. So
Well, he had her window open. He had his hand inside the window,
yeah,
in the driver's
yeah.
window. 4 seconds. Here we go. All right, guys, and welcome back. Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com, the law enforcement talk show. My name is Chip the Block, and I'm your host. We're joined by Dr. Joel Schultz, retired police chief, and also Sergeant Betsy Brantner Smith, and she's the national spokesperson for the NPA. And that is important because this next series, if you guys are okay with me skipping topics here, and we spent a lot of time in the first one, which is great, but now it's time to talk about the National Police Association. So since we've had Betsy on the show, there is so much more that they do than what the titles I'm getting ready to read out, but I'm just trying to let people just get a glimpse into a little bit about what the National Police Association does. I support them monthly, and my goal is number one, to make everybody aware of who the National Police Association is, especially through their national spokesperson, Betsy Brantner Smith, and also what do they actually do? And if you just decide to support them like I do, and I prefer monthly because it allows people to get involved and make decisions based off of monthly income instead of just a one-time shot in the arm. So I like monthly because they can make financial decisions based off of a continuing donation. But let me just read up some of the titles of just some of the things they've done over the last few months. The National Police Association endorses the HALO Act, a bill designed to protect federal immigration officers from harassment. And they also endorse COPS Anti-Organized Crime and Cartel Enforcement Act. And they also endorse the Lawless Cities Accountability Act of 2025, and also the ICE Protection Act of 2026. We're not done. The National Police Association endorses the Stop Illegal Alien Cops Act, and also the Judicial Accountability for Irresponsible Leniency Jail Act. I love that one, and that is something. And that was December 12th of 2025 when they jumped on that bandwagon. They have gotten involved with so many things. Our female police officer from LAPD, Tony McBride. She was in a world of hurt when they questioned shots 5 and 6 for a bona fide bad guy who had a knife, and she saved lives. And they backed her. And then when it got into the headlines again, and you guys did a beautiful job of having her back when she was in a world of hurt. So I love NPA. I love what they do. Betsy, the floor is yours.
Well, here's the thing, and we're a charity. I know it sounds like a union, right? The National Police Association. We're not a union, and we get involved in so many different things. We have, I have a podcast, the National Police Association podcast. You can get that on YouTube and all that. And we, they send me out to tell the truth about police officers in the media, but we also have an amazing legal arm. We have a policy arm. Go to nationalpolice.org. You can see all the amazing things we do, and you can hit that donate button like Chip has done, like I have done. And but all of this legislation that we are supporting right now, the HALO Act and I got to tell you my favorite one. I got two favorite ones. The first is the Lawless Cities Accountability Act, where if you don't allow your police department to help, for example, ICE when they are being attacked, like what we saw in Chicago, like what we saw in Minneapolis, there are consequences for that. The Jail Act, the one that you just read, I just love that, because what have we been seeing lately in the news? We've been seeing these repeat violent offenders engage in all kinds of nefarious behavior, and these judges, what do? They let them out. This allows for civil consequences. civil consequences. You as a crime victim, if you're victimized by somebody who should still be incarcerated, have been, done things, 60, 70 arrests, and judges keep letting them out, then you can come after civilly the judges. And even yeah, right. So it's so amazing. And there's also, and this is one of my big frustrations. I don't know if people know, but there are illegal aliens who are being allowed to be police officers. We have one in my native Illinois. And, so this will be, remember, if you're an illegal alien, and frankly, most times if you're a legal alien of certain stature, again, there's a Supreme Court decision on that. I won't get into all that, but if you are not 100% an American citizen, you shouldn't be able to be a police officer, right? I hope everybody agrees with that. So there's legislation that is going to disallow illegal aliens to become police officers. So a lot of great stuff. We're trying to help cops deal with organized crime. So there's an act that is trying to help fund that. Just so many great things. And we have the National Police Association. We have a policy advocate who spends a lot of her time dealing with the legislators who are sponsoring these acts, or trying to get them pushed. I would really encourage everybody to go online, go on our website, nationalpolice.org, and see who sponsors all this pro law enforcement, pro crime victim, pro America legislation, and see who those legislators are. It's the who's who of our Congress people and our senators who love America.
And Betsy, thanks. I noticed while you were talking about going after the judges that Chief Schultz took the gavel he usually has on the show and he moved it off camera so no one can see it. There you go. That's amazing stuff.
Yeah, and other things that I'm not as involved with NPA as I used to be, but if you want to look at 100 or so articles that I wrote for them, you can go to the site. There's also something I'm proud of at NPA's instigation. They compiled, I think it's 10 volumes of 10 articles each that I wrote. That's free as a downloadable curriculum for homeschoolers, and also for anybody else that wants to have a kind of a pro police education. And just some things that I had marginal involvement with. I wrote as a subject matter expert on an amicus brief that went to the Supreme Court. So that shows you NPA's influence. They're in the halls of justice. And there was, and I can't remember the name or the family name. There was an officer who was killed in, I think it was Washington State. And the family was
Pierce County, Washington.
Trying to sue, saying, look, this is your fault because you're not funding personnel enough to keep this person safe. And so I had some facts and commentary on that case. So I love the mission statement that's above Betsy's head there, educating supporters of law enforcement. So and that's one of the things that this show does. And I remember you said a while back, you think probably about half of the folks are not current or retired law enforcement. But that's really the weak point in support for law enforcement, is getting our good citizens who get all this crap fed to them about how bad the cops are, and let them know the reality of what they're facing and what they accomplish. So I'm, hats off and salute to MPA. They're doing great work, significant work.
Thank you. That is so well said. When you look at the website and all the things that you can read, that you can download, and we also do, we have mobile billboards to again, educate the public. We help start police explorer programs. We even purchase body armor for a small agency's canine. Things like that. I mean, there's just so many great things we do. And I'm so glad you brought the homeschool program, because that is so popular. And we're here in Arizona. we have a lot because we have ESAs. We have lots of homeschoolers, and parents are always looking for something to teach their kids about law enforcement and about police officers, and they're trying to make it positive because, again, we do polling. We did polling with the Rasmussen organization. Most people love the cops, and yet, you look at the media and if all you're watching is cable news or whatever, you think the cops are bad.
Two things. First, you were talking about illegals becoming police officers, and not long ago we covered a story where ICE, and I believe it was the New Orleans Police Department, if I'm not mistaken, he was either in the police academy and they grabbed him before he was sworn in, or had just graduated. But yeah, that's happened in California and some other places, which is really scary. And I don't know if you're familiar with that one or not, but the NPA and doing what you guys do, I just love the way that you guys are changing lives, but behind the scenes. And you have attorneys that are associated with the NPA as well, correct? Or
yeah, we do. What they do is contract out, with attorneys that whatever their expertise might be, whether it's policy, whether it's use of force, things like that. And I don't know if you can hear my lawn guy right at my window of my studio.
Well, it's perfect timing because we have a commercial break anyhow. So we'll let the lawn get cut. We're going to be talking about GunLearn at gunlearn.com. Stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, guys, it's time to talk about GunLearn at gunlearn.com. And as law enforcement officers, we deal with guns and we deal with ammo every day. But it's what we don't know about them that gets us into trouble. Injuries, civil lawsuits, accidental discharges, misidentifications, lost prosecutions, and disciplinary issues. But gunlearn.com, they have your back. You can quickly become extremely firearm knowledgeable by simply learning 14 training modules from the convenience of your home or your office, or by attending a live seminar at gunlearn.com. You can also become a safe, accurate, and competent certified firearm specialist like our panelist, Captain Brett Bartlett, and also attorney Appianco. They've both attended the course and have that classification. Now, GunLearn has been a trusted source since way back in 2011 by gun manufacturers, federal agencies, and federal prosecutors and police agencies nationwide. And you can get free training for yourself and all the personnel of your agency if you host a seminar for absolutely no cost. The founder, Dana Kelly, is making that available to you. Gunlearn.com. All right, guys, 2 minutes before we come back to the radio portion. And yeah, that was perfect timing, Betsy. So,
good.
There you go. Yeah, you look. Well, I'm looking at that banner. Yeah, you got good eyes. You got good eyes, Chief. I got to say, you're reading the banner. I'm thinking, I'm squinting trying to read that myself. So yeah, you did.
Yeah, and my cataract surgery isn't until next month.
So, and I found out I've been squinting a lot. And I did go to the doctor about a year ago, and he said, I can see you got cataracts forming and stuff. And I haven't been able to read real well. And I've been getting magnifying glasses out. Like when a lot of people know I read my Bible before we go live, and I've got a big magnifying glass, and they're saying, what are you doing? And I found out that my wife ordered me these blue blocker for computers. And that's what's making everything so dim. I put on another pair of readers the other day, and it's like, oh my gosh, I got light. I can actually see what I'm looking at instead of these blue blockers, which I just can't see with them on. So yeah, so I'm not going to be wearing my blue blockers anymore.
I have those too. I'm going to have to pay attention to that because I read them. Yeah. I use those blue blockers only when I'm looking at my phone.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
But otherwise, I have these.
So if
my librarian glasses.
That's a good look. I like it.
Dave loves it.
So we got 30 seconds. So when we come back, do you want to say some more, wrap things up about NPA? I mean, we've roughly got about maybe 11 minutes when we come back, and I would like to cover at least one story with a video component, but we can talk as much about NPA as you want to, or however you want.
Yeah, I mean, I can just kind of wrap it up, and we can go to the video because okay. Just
7 seconds. Here we go, long guys. Here we go. right, guys, and welcome back. Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com, the law enforcement talk show. My name is Chip DeBlock, and I'm your host. We are joined by, yes, Sergeant Betsy Brantner-Smith, and she's the NPA, which is the National Police Association national spokesperson. We also have Dr. Joel Schultz, who's a retired police chief and currently residing in the state of Colorado. And we've been talking about NPA and what they've been up to. And Betsy's done a great job of kind of, bringing it all in and putting it on the spotlight. And then we've been talking about other things that they do. Guys, there's so much we could do. We would have to do multiple shows in order to cover everything that they're doing behind the scenes. Is that pretty much right, Betsy? I mean, really?
It absolutely is. Again, go to that website, nationalpolice.org. Look at our policy missions, our legal missions, our support missions, our advocacy. We have petition advocacy. And then look at that education mission. I'm so glad the chief brought that up. Because that we don't just support cops, we support citizens who support cops and who deserve the type of law enforcement that everyone needs in this country. So nationalpolice.org, and follow us on X, you guys. Nat Police Assoc, ASSOC, and me, SGT Betsy Smith on X. We're our X accounts are they're rocking.
I love it. I love it, guys. Just to kind of bring people up to speed on what we're seeing on social media here. Now, these postings that I'm getting ready to read out to you, we're streaming to I think 5 or 6 Facebook pages right now, and also on YouTube as well. And so just these guys are agreeing with us, and we've got Billy Martin wants to arrest Katie Hobbs. And they're still talking about the magazine too. The magazine restrictions in California, and they're saying that Katie Hobbs just vetoed. This is Billy Martin again. Katie Hobbs just vetoed a Charlie Kirk plate for your car.
Yes.
In other words, she took the choice away from the people. It was a vanity plate that motorists could choose to buy or not. And then Alan Inman's weighing in on California and Minnesota being the states not cooperating. We got Jeanette Russell Champion. Be hard for them to get kickbacks if they can't cheat. We got Alfredo, Randy, Alan Inman, Joey is a new one. We got a lot of commentary, and then of course we've got Bill and MVS over. I can't even repeat what they're saying, but they're over on Rumble. They're not happy about some of the stuff going on. So you got a lot of supporters.
Chip, the National Police Association Facebook page posts, I think, every single LEO roundtable. So,
is that right?
Yeah,
I wasn't aware of that. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to National Police Association on Facebook, and you can. That's a one way to access the LEO roundtable and also see all the things we do.
Oh, that is fantastic. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear that. So thank you so much. So guys, moving along, we've got a little under 7 minutes. Let me get this video done, and then maybe we'll have enough time, for the anti-ICE rioters and that update story. But we've got this is making Florida people look bad, Betsy, and I apologize for that, because every time we have one of these whacked out videos, but then again we have Alcatraz too, right?
Right.
So alligator Alcatraz. So rumble.com. This is Butter, which is our favorite law enforcement video channel. We have a Florida guy armed with an axe taken down by car wash employees, later arrested. Now, look, there's a law enforcement component at the end, but I got to tell you, I was so impressed with watching this. I hope this kid gets a career in law enforcement. Ocala is what we're talking about. A Florida man arrested after reportedly threatened 2 Ocala car wash workers. I think that I'm old enough I can just call them kids, right? They're probably early 20s. And he threatens them with an axe when they're closing up for business. So they're closing up for business. A lot of people realize that when you're closing up, cash registers, you're kind of susceptible to a lot of things going down when you're shutting down for the day. Bryce Thayer, 36 years old, he's our bad guy, accused of 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which is a felony in Florida, without intent to kill, after he reportedly held up an axe to 2 car wash workers in Ocala. Now, he's also facing a possession of drug paraphernalia charge as well. So the Marion County Sheriff's Office, they're the guys that responded, got involved, and they go to this Ocala car wash around 8:40 p.m. on March the 9th because there was a physical disturbance that was reported at the car wash. Now, we have 2 workers there, and as they're closing up the business and locking the doors, this bad guy Thayer approaches them, and he's irate. And when he is asked to leave by them, he produces an axe in a threatening manner towards both these guys. And so there's there's a point when you're watching the surveillance video on this thing to where the guy he approaches them, they start backing up. He becomes somewhat distracted. He lowers his arm with the axe, and you've got a guy that's got a set on him. And this kid charges the bad guy, who wasn't expecting it, did not have time to raise the act, and he gets him and he puts him on the ground. And this kid has got to have martial arts experience, because he straddles the guy and he's on top of him. The bad guy is face up, so he's not in a prone position. But the axe looks like it falls out of the guy's hand, and it slides across the asphalt pavement. Well, the other kid, instead of, he didn't know enough to move the axe out without reach. So during this fight, the bad guy reaches and he grabs the axe. So while this kid, the second kid, is trying to pull the axe out of his hand, or a guy that's on top of him, I had to rewind that and watch that. It looked, and sure enough, he was doing elbow strikes to the face of this guy. Now, in law enforcement, we can't normally do something like that unless it's like a life or death situation. But God bless this kid. When you look at the booking photo of this bad guy and look at the black eye and the busted nose, that elbow looked like it was pretty effective. And then you got the cops that show up. They review the footage, because the bad guy's saying, "Look, watch the video. I didn't do anything." And then there was a video of everything. They found a methamphetamine pipe that he ditched during all this thing, and so they attached that to him as well. And he went to Marion County Jail. Sergeant Chief Schultz, why don't you start us off on this one?
Well, here's three phrases that a person watching a video like this ought to recognize. I didn't do nothing. I can't breathe. And ouch, stop hurting me.
Exactly.
Flag words.
And I mean, look, I watched it in slow motion. I was so entertained by it. And
did you really?
I went back and Marion County, the kid with the elbows, Marion County needs to recruit that kid. And
you're right.
Yeah, this is and what you have there. And again, this is Ocala, Florida. This is where people, obviously these two young men felt empowered to be able to defend themselves and to defend that business that they work for. And that's what we need to see more of. We also need to see more manly men. This is toxic masculinity at its best. God bless whoever raised these young men. They need to be commended as well.
If it would have been a Starbucks or a Walmart, they would have been fired. It's too bad.
You would have heard screaming like girls, but instead we got manly young men who really, I would guess if you talk to both of them, they would, they're committed to their job. They're committed to their business, and they're committed to doing the right thing. It's wrong to walk around with the axe, smoke meth, and steal stuff. And these young men are the epitome of the opposite of that nonsense. God bless them.
So a minute and 44 seconds to libertydaily.com. Anti-ICE riders. You may want to hold the mug up, Betsy. They thought that they were above the law. Guys, we're talking Portland here. This man is showing them otherwise. So I don't have enough time to go through the whole article, but we're in Portland, Oregon, and we have a new sheriff in town, theoretically. So most protesters arrested near Portland's immigration and their ICE facility in the past 6 months. Something's gone on, because now all of a sudden they're facing charges from, I guess it's Multnomah County District Attorney Nathan Vasquez's office, and he's the new guy in charge. And he's a tough guy. These guys are going to jail, facing charge. Even if they're not getting, he's not scared about the ratio, the win ratio, like a lot of DAs and state attorneys are, and he's getting it done. And he replaced the George Soros-backed leftist, which is Mike Schmidt. And so they're getting it done in Portland. Betsy, I'd like to get your take on that.
Well, I tell you, and we know Portland well. My husband was born there, and there is a shift happening in Portland. That ICE facility is under attack, and it has been almost every night for about 10 years now. And people are sick of it because it's destroying what was once a beautiful city. And I think folks are starting to realize that we need to support law enforcement, and the county prosecutor is jumping on that.
Yeah, I love it, Chief.
I'm glad the boot is off of the neck of law enforcement getting there and back on the neck of the bad guys.
Yeah. They have filed charges for at least 33. Yep, there's the bug. For at least 33 or 63% of the 53 arrests described in Portland Police Bureau's press releases about anti-ICE protests that's just from September to February. So, we got to you got to praise it, when you see it. We want to be we have nothing against Portland. This is exciting stuff. So we're,
Oh yeah.
we want Portland to succeed. And I didn't know that Dave was born in Portland. Wow.
Yeah. Believe it or not.
So
And we still have family there, and it was a great place. But that's why this is one of the reasons the MPA is reporting that Lawless Cities Accountability Act, because you got to enforce the law in your jurisdiction. Citizens deserve that, and so does law enforcement.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Sergeant Betsy Brantner Smith and Chief Joel Schultz on the show. I do want to mention the Wounded Blue, thewoundedblue.org. Guys, please support our sponsors. We have Gulls.com, CompliantTechnologies.com, Gunler.com, Medicare.life, Safeguard Recruiting, and Two Bells. Don't forget about NationalPolice.org as well. We'll see you guys back tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern. And we're going to keep going for about another minute and 10 seconds just to keep the satellite company happy. But any final words for the listening audience, guys?
Hey, continue to go out there, everybody, and truly back the blue. We need it more than ever. And if you see something, say something. We're in the middle of potential terrorism here, and we want to make sure that Americans remain safe.
Yeah, she's right. We need more guys like these car wash guys. Keep your head on the swivel wherever you go. And I'm looking for, I don't want to say the opportunity, because I hope, I don't want it to happen, but if it happens, I want to be in the right place at the right time. We need more good guys with guns that are going to be assertive and willing to prevent bad things from happening. And, I think that we all know that I don't think it's going to be widespread, but I do expect more incidents like what happened in Texas and stuff to be happening around the country. I think that more of these bad guys that are taken out by good guys will help prevent this from happening. So, guys, keep your head on a swivel, whether you're active or retired. Carry under LEOSA, the Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act, also AKA HR 218, and get it done. Chief Schultz, any final words? And hey, I love the fact that you brought up about the curriculum for homeschoolers at nationalpolice.org. So I can go to the nationalpolice.org and get this information for homeschooling.
Absolutely. And you can share it. And Chief Schultz is a big part of that curriculum.
I got to get with my wife and we got to start working on the kid thing first, but it's nice to know that that's there. So thank you.
Absolutely.
So my final word is, if you see a so-called police expert on television commenting about something, if they're not also on Leo Roundtable, I would question their veracity.
All right. I love you. All right. Thanks. I would send you another knife, but I'm worried you would cut yourself again with it. So
this one was potato peeling yesterday. So
is it? He's got it. Did you see the Band-Aid, Betsy? Did you see that? Did you hear about the knife I sent him? And he sent me a picture after he cut himself with it. Did you hear? That's a true story.
Ow.
There, it was a sharp knife. All right. Hey, streamers, thank you guys so much for watching the show. We'll look for you guys tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern. So we're going to let the streamers go.